Hello and good evening, everyone. And thanks for joining for the Flutter Festivals session 2. So, in this session, we are going to learn about the Dart programming language and its essentials. So, first of all, I would like to tell you all that you should open Dartpad, where we will be doing our writing our code. Okay, so I'll just share you the link and you can open it. I have shared the link in the chat box. Please, everyone, check it out. So, let me go through what all topics we are going to cover in the session. So, first is the fundamentals of Dart. Then it will have data types of Dart, operators, loops, collections, functions, and finally classes and objects. So, these are the basic topics you need to learn to build an application in Flutter. As we all know, Flutter is an SDK which is built on language, which is written in the language Dart. So we need to know Dart before learning Android development in Flutter. Okay, so I hope everyone has opened Dartpad. You can just write in the chat box if you have any queries or anything. Okay. Can anyone respond if I'm audible and like clear enough?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Okay, so moving on to the fundamentals of Dart. So Dart is a static type programming language. What do we mean by static type programming language? It means that if I define a variable as a string, I cannot assign a data type of another value onto that variable. Like if I wrote string variable string x is equals to my name, then I cannot s x as any other data type. Like I cannot assign x as 2. Okay. Then we have that Dart is a compiled programming language. It support two type of compilation. First is the AOT time, which is compile deployment, and the other is just in time, which run on the auto compilation. That means we do not need to compile that language. It is automatically compiled and the program is run. Okay. So it always begin with a main function. So what it is very clear, I think, whenever we write a program in Dart, it has to be a main function which will be executed first. So we'll learn more about these fundamentals of Dart in the upcoming slides. So these are two features or characteristics of Dart. That is type inferring. The data type is inferred according to the value assigned. As you can see in the piece of code, here I have assigned a variable first name as a string. Okay, then I have assigned a variable last name of type string value Agarwal. Okay, so what does this mean? In the second line, I have already assigned string data type to this variable. So I cannot change this. This is called type defined. But here I have not defined any data type specifically. So that means this first name variable will automatically take whatever value is assigned the data type of that value. So currently I have assigned string data type, a string value to the first name variable. So it will take up string data type. Is it clear till now? If you have any queries, you can write. And also, I would suggest you try and run all the code which are written. Okay, so these are the two examples of type inferring and statically type defined. The first line we have type inference that means initially we have not assigned any data type to the variable, but it take up the data type of whatever value it is assigned. And here I have already assigned string data type to this variable and the value is string itself. So yeah, so the point here is if I have assigned string data type to this variable. I cannot assign any other data type value here. I cannot write a string last name too, right? Okay, so let me just show you on a piece of code. I think that pad is visible to everyone. So here I write string name as 2 and try to run this code. So it will throw an error. As you can see here, this is throwing an error. That means the value of type int can't be assigned to a variable of type string. Okay, so if I assign this as var and now try to run the code, there's no error. Okay, so from this, it is clear that if I assign any other data type to a predefined or statically defined variable, it will throw an error. So in that case, I need to use type inference. Okay. Now moving on to the next slide. So in this piece of code, uh, we have a code which take input from the user. In the first line, we have first it is the main function. As I already told you that in Dart language, it always begin with a main function. Okay, so the first line is stdout.write in what is your name. So whatever I want to write, I have to write this line. Then I assign a name variable of type string, and in this I am taking the input through this line. In the line number 2, this code stdin.readLineSync, this function takes input from the user, and here I am printing the name of the variable. Okay, so I would request all you to open your dartpad and write along with me. So let's try to take an input from the user. Okay. And dot right. We can use a print function itself here. I think the version is creating an issue here. Yeah, that's what I used, but it was not working, I think.
I guess this is because of the online ID data that you
Yeah.
are using and the version is not supporting.
Yes, so you can use this code. It is the correct code, but in your terminals or your IDEs like Visual Studio Code or something else. So moving on to the data types here. So first data type is of number. The keywords are int, double, and num. Numbers in Dart are used to represent numeric literals. These are the data types which are common in, I think, every programming language. That is number, string, booleans, list, maps. I think this one is the new one, dynamic type. The keyword here used is dynamic. It is a variable which is used to define a variable type if it is not specified explicitly. The dynamic keyword is used for type annotation explicitly. So what does this mean is if I want to assign a value which I'm not sure what will be the data type of that value, then I can simply use dynamic keyword to assign that variable, and whatever the value of that variable will be, it will be assigned. Okay, so let's have some code of all these data types.
Samisha, I would like to
Yeah.
say one thing. So you can use this platform, REPL.it as well. So I just checked, it is working fine for the code you wrote. Just that you don't
Okay.
have to check string for null with the question mark. It's working fine.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah,
Thanks, Apoor.
no worries.
Uh, we can open this editor, which Apoor has just shared, and here you can check the code to take input from the user. Okay, Sumi, thank you. You have written the code itself. I'll try to write it in that editor. Okay. So I think this is visible now. I'll run the code and it says what's your name, then I'll type my name. Yeah. So it is rendered. So in line number 5, I have used a name variable to print. Okay, so to use a variable inside a string, I need to add this symbol of dollar sign. What it does is it takes the variable and it add into the string. So if I want to add any variable, defined variable in a string, I need to add this way. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Now, in type, which is like C, C++, or Java, I have already introduced you. It is not statically defined. So whatever the value of the variable will be assigned to this variable, it will take up to that. Okay. So I have. Let me just write the code again. So in this word, so first if I have assigned int type num, which is given a value 2, then we have assigned a double type, and this a1 is equals to num dot parse. Okay, so the error was num is predefined keyword which parse in the string type into integer type. Okay, so I have passed a string of 1 into integer and a string of 2.34 into double. So the answer here will be sum of 1 plus 2.34. and this will be of type double. So this is how this is all about numbers. Then we have booleans. Booleans, bool, we know that there are two values, either true or false. Then we have list data type. What does list do is it take up more than one value of the same type. So similarly, in this example, we have taken a list which is of size 3. So the list at index 1 will contain word geeks, second index will contain for, third index will contain geeks. Okay, so if I want to print the complete list, I will write print the list name, and if I want to print any particular element of that list, I'll write the list square brackets index. Okay, so moving on to the next data type, that is map. So map is basically key value pair. Okay, we will learn more about maps in the upcoming slides. So map here, I have defined map as GFG, and then we have a key of type of first, which is assigned a value geeks, a second key, which is assigned a value 4, and third key, which is assigned a value geeks. So if I want to print this map, let me just show you what it will be printed. So the list is print, a map is printed. So what is the difference between a map and a list? If I want to, if I don't know what will be the length of, first of all, we have key value pairs in map, whereas in list, what we have is we just have one single value assigned to a particular index. And in map, we do not need to define the size of a map. We can simply add as many key value pairs as we want. Is it clear till now? You can write in the chat box if you have any doubts till now. Then I'll move on to some more data types. Then we have string data type. String is a very common data type which is present in every programming language. So this is the function to concatenate two strings, string str and string str1. So what will be the output of this code? Can anyone just tell me? Write in the chat box. What will be the output of this code, this string one? What will be the output of this code? String str is equals to coding is, and string str1 is fun. So what will be the output of this line? Prints str plus str1. Okay, Tara, right? Yes, so this is simple concatenation of two strings. Okay, and then we have the dynamic keyword. What dynamic keyword here does is it take up the value assigned. So here I have assigned a string type variable, a string to variable 1. and then I have printed this. Then I have assigned another variable, which is again of type dynamic. So just let me just show you the code. So in this code, what I have done is first I have taken a type dynamic variable one and I've assigned a string value. Then I have assigned it an integer value, and so it is updated. So in dynamic, what we can do is we can assign any data type value, and it will take up that data type. So this is the use of dynamic keyword. Is it clear up till now? If anyone have any doubt, you can write in the chat box. Else we should move ahead. Okay, so next we have data type conversions. So in that we have this advantage that we can convert any data type to any other data type. So in this code, I have converted a string data type into int, and as you can see here, first of all, a string value is assigned, and now if I compare it with one which is an integer type, it will print true. Okay. Similarly, in this section, this code, I have assigned a string to a double. I have converted a string data type to a double value. So this piece of code states that this string value is converted to double data type. In this section, what I have done is I have converted a integer value to string, and in this I have converted a double to string. So these are the keywords used. To string as fixed. So what does this mean? To string as fixed means that as it is written here, the string 3.14159 will be converted to double value 3.14159 will converted to 3.14. That means till decimal place 2, as we have assigned here. Okay, is it clear till now? Any one of you can just write here. Yeah. Uh, so this keyword here written is to string as fixed, which take an argument as the number of decimal places we want it to convert. So we have converted it to 2 decimal places. And so the string will be converted to 3.14. Is it clear till now? Explain the function of parse. Yeah, sure. So what we have done here is we'll take a variable 1 and we will convert a string to a variable of type integer. Okay. So whose question was this? Okay, Tarab. So your question was, what does this parse function do, right? So I have converted this string. Suppose it was like this. Okay. So it was converted to 1100. Sorry, 11. The parse function convert it to integer type. Int dot parse means you are converting any data type. Here we have converted string data type into int. Okay, so here we will write whatever data type we want to convert it into, and this is the value we want to convert. Okay, is that clear, Tarab? We can take one more example for this one. Okay. Yeah, we can take one more example where we are converting a double value into a string. Okay. So I have written here that I want to convert this value 2.1435 to a string with decimal places 3. So what is the expected output? Can anyone just write in the chat box? What is the expected output if I print this string str? Okay, we can check it out. Yeah. So we do not round off. It just take only the number of decimal places we have assigned. I hope it is clear now. So 2.143 only. It does not round off. Okay. Or we can just check if it does. My life was like, okay. No, actually it depends on the language. Some languages round off, some do not. So we can just try using this one. Okay, so it does round off. Because it was less than 5, so it did not round off. So it all depends on the, yeah, it works partially like. Okay, so it depends on the language, and so it is. So I hope it is clear till now. If you have any doubt, you can write in the chat box. Otherwise, we can move on. So next is Dart operators. So first one is addition operator. We know we can add two operands. Then we have subtraction. Then we have unary minus used to reverse the sign of an expression. Um, this is used for like if I want to reverse the sign of an expression. If I want to make it negative, then I can use this unary minus, and then we have multiply. Then we have division, and these both operators are used for division. The difference is used to divide two operands but give output in integer. Okay, so if we use this operator for division, the output will always be an integer. And this is modulus. This gives the remainder of the two operands. Okay, so moving on. First one is for loop. It is a very basic loop, which I think every one of you have read. So in this loop, what happens is the first is executed only once, that is in the beginning, while the other three are executed until the condition turns out to be false. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are printing hello for 5 times. Okay, so we are assigning a value, initializing a value I of integer type with 0, and we want to run this loop till I is less than 5, and every time we are incrementing it by 1. Okay, so this will print hello for 5 times. Then we have for in loop. What does for in loop do? What for in loop does is it takes an expression or object as an initiator. So we are given a array or a list of containing 5 numbers. Then if I want to iterate in this list, what I simply does is I'll take an integer I and I'll write it like int I in list, and I'll print I. That means it takes the it takes an expression for object as an iterator. That is, it itself take the value of the um like what we can do here is in this list the I is changing. Okay, so first it will print 1, then it will print 2. So the value of I is 1, then the value of I will be 2, and so on. Okay, then we have do while loop. So in do while loop, the loop will be executed first and then the condition is tested. Okay, so as we can see here, we have assigned a variable x4 and an integer I as 1. Then we will first print hello, then increment I, and then the condition is checked that if I is less than equals to x, it will continue, otherwise it will come out of the loop. So if I want to execute a function in which I want to print a value first and then I want to check something, then this do while loop is suitable. Then we have for each loop. So it is very much similar like the foreign loop, where an iterator is assigned and it iterates over all the elements in a list or a container. Okay, so similarly here we have assigned a list with containing 5 digits, 5 integers, and we are iterating for every value of the list ARR. So we have written ARR dot for each variable which is of type obviously number, then it will print down. Okay. So if the array was of type list, then we can write string here instead of war. So we have assigned war here because we do not know what values can be there in the list. If we already know, we can directly write or statically define the variable here. Okay, is that clear till now? If you have any doubt, you can just write in the chat box. Okay, if no, then we can move on to the last loop. This is the while loop. And here, what happens is the body of the loop will run until and unless the condition is true. So it is again simple. We have assigned values here, x and I. Then we will check the condition, and if this condition states true, then the statement inside the loop will be executed. Okay. So these are all about loops. Now we can move on to Dart collections. So Dart has some collections. If we are using more to define a list, can it contain different data type items? No, I was saying since it was written here, one since this list contain only numbers, right? But if it contains strings, like all the elements will be same, but they can be of any other data type also. Like all the elements are of string type or all the elements are of double type. So we have assigned a var because we do not know what data type is that list of. Is that clear, Sumir? Okay. So Dart collection. So we have Dart collections. First one is list. So list is an ordered group of objects where each object is from one specific type. So what does this mean is, so we were using list for a long time in the previous examples. Now we know list can have will have a group of objects, and all the objects will be of one specific data type. Okay. So if I have assigned, so yeah, it can contain more than one data type, but every element will be a specific data type. This is what list is. Okay. So here in this list ARR, I have taken some integer values also and and a string also, and then I have created a for loop which will print. Okay, so we can write this code and it will be clear. So I'll define list like ARR new list. This function add all is used to add values in the list. Okay. So I've added some integer values and some string values. Then I'll print this list and see what happens. Okay, so the list is printed. We can directly print list like this. And if I want to remove any index, any element at a given index, I can do it like this. So uh, this function take up the value of the element I want to delete. I want to delete a second element. Okay, now I need to print list after removing the element. Okay, so the element 2 is removed. If I try to remove an element which is not present in the list, let's see what happens. Okay, so if I want to delete an element which is not present, nothing happens. It will return the same list. Okay. Similarly, if I want to do some operations like I want to reverse the list, then we have um, arr.reverse. Reversed it is. Okay, so this reverse the list. And there are some other functions like arr.first, so it will print the first element of the string. Okay, so the first element of the string is this. So I hope it is clear till now. If you have any doubt, you can write in the chat box. Otherwise, we can move on to the next collection, which is set. Okay. So we can move on to the next collection, that is set. So a set is defined as an unordered list of unique objects. Okay. So what is the unique feature of set is it does not contain duplicate objects. Like as you can see in this, I have added 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 1, and 9. So if I print this set, it will contain only unique keys for every element. Okay, so I'll go through with an example. Before that, we can just learn about maps. So maps are again unordered key value pair, as we learned before, a collection that sets an associate key to a value within. That means a map is a collection of key value pairs and every value is assigned a key which is associated to it. Okay, so now we can write some code on set and map and learn more about it. So I define a set S of type new. Again, I can use this add all function to add elements in a set. Okay, then I'll try to print you see what I added and what is printed here. I added four values for one, but only one is printed. So this proves that set contain only unique values for every element. Okay, and it deletes every duplicate value. So in places where we want only unique elements to be stored, we use set here. Then we have some operations on set, like the first element or remove, similar to what we had in list. Okay. Then next we have a map. So I'll create a map. Its key will be 1. The key of the first element will be 1 and the value assigned to will be, say, apple. Then I have second key is 2 and the value will be mango. Then I can take third key as 4 and the value will be banana. So this is a map. I'll print this map. Okay, so the map is printed, which has 3 key value pairs. Then it again has some same like operations. If I want to add more values to it, I can use map.addAll, and it will take a key type and say kiwi, and then I print map. It will be updated. Okay. There's another method of adding a specific key. I can pen map. Oh yeah, a new key value pair is added like this. Okay. So I hope collections are also clear to you all. And if you have any doubt, you can write in the chat box. If you have no doubt, then we can move on to the next. Otherwise, let me know.
Yeah, I don't think it's audible.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, moving on to the Dart functions. We have two type of functions: complete function and functions without parameters and return type. Okay, so in this complete function, what we have done is, as we all know, any program in Dart starts with the main function. So I have created a variable output, and I have assigned this the value returned from the add function, which I have created here. So this add function will have data type of type int. So this will be the data type of the value which will be returned from this function. Okay, and then we have the value. It will take some parameters of type int a and int type b. Then whatever functionality we want to add to this function, we can write here. Like I want to just add these two numbers and return the sum of these two numbers. So I have done this, and here I will print out this output. Is this function clear to you? If you have any doubt, then you can let me know. Do we have to use add all there? I thought that adding multiple pairs. No? Okay, so Rafi Ahmed, you have a question for. No, we can add only single entity also with add all, or you can add multiple entities also. Okay, I hope this clears your doubt. So this complete function has two parameters which are passed, that is 10 and 20. So suppose if I want to write a function to multiply two numbers, I'll show you how to write that. First, we will learn what are functions without parameters and return type. So we have this main function, and inside this we have a function called the func, or func function you can say. This is a void type. That means it does not return anything. It just does is what it does is it print this value welcome. Okay, so I'll do a dry run of both these functions so that it is clear to you. First, I'll write this function with no parameters and a return type. So it has I'll create a function called fun, which will be of type void. That means it does not return anything. Its name and then whatever I want to do inside it. I want to print hello. Okay. So what will be the output of this piece of code? Can anyone guess it? You can write in the chat box. What will be the output of this code? Okay. Anyone else will show an error? Okay. Okay. Okay, so we should check it. Okay. So this was my mistake, not the code. So there's some okay. Okay. So who else sorry, anyone, all those who wrote error for this code, if they had this the reason of this error, the semicolon, then it is fine. Otherwise you can just let me know what error you were expecting. Okay, I think it was the semicolon error. Okay, so this is a function. Yeah, so this is the function without any parameters or a return type. Now we will go to the function which has some parameters and return type. Okay, so I'll create a function called the product, which will return the product of two values. So to get the product of two values, I need two parameters, right? First, and both will be of type integer a and integer b. Then I will return the product of a into b. Okay. So this will be of type integer again because multiplication of two integers will be an integer itself. Or else I can assign a result and do my multiplication here and then return the result. So then what I can do is I can print the answer. So I will take the value from this product function, and now I have to pass two numbers for which I want to do the product. Okay, so I'll do 10 and 11, suppose. Okay, then I will print this. So okay, so I think this is a product of 10 and 11. I hope this is clear. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Or else we can move on to the last topic of today's session, that is classes and objects. Okay, so I think we should move on to the next topic. So yeah, so the next topic is classes and objects. So basically, what are classes? If you have done any other programming language like C or C++ or Java, then you know what are classes and objects. Okay, so classes are basically blueprints of real-time objects or entities, and objects are instances of the classes. Like suppose if I have a car, it has some features like it is of it has some color, it has a brand name or something. Then it has some functions like it accelerate, it slows down, it stop. So these are some functions. So a car can be defined as a class which has some uh, characteristics, that is it has a color, a name or something, and it has some functions like it do some work like it accelerate or it brake, it stops and so on. And an object will be an instance of that. So uh, a class is basically a class is something which does not take up any memory, but an object which is an instance of a class will take up the memory. So in this piece of code, what I have done is I have taken a class A and a string which has a string s1. Then it has a void function which print welcome s1. And here in the main function, what I have done is I have created an object geek of class A. Then this will give an error. I think this is wrong code. Okay, so I'll write a new. I'll write the code and then it will be clear. I've created a class A. It will have a string s1. Welcome. And here I will create an object of class A, which is suppose obj. Okay, this is the name of the object of class A, and I'll create a new object. So this is the syntax of creating an object of class A. So now what I can do is I can access all the members or functions of that class through this object. Okay, so object dot s1 is equals to some extra, and then I'll access this function. And yeah, so if I hope this is clear to everyone what I have done in this code. So now you can try guessing or just shoot your answers. What will be the output of this code? In write in the chat box. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah. Okay. So let's see what this function does is. Okay. So in everyone who wrote welcome Samiksha is correct. So from this I can get that everyone has learned so far. No welcome Samiksha. Okay. That is fine. I think they meant the same. Okay. So now I have covered all the topics I wanted to in this session. So now you can ask any doubt you have. Then we have a small quiz. So if you do not have any doubt, we can move on to the quiz. Okay.
I had one doubt.
Yeah.
Could you assign the value of S1 in the constructor itself? So, for example,
Yeah,
there.
sure.
Okay,
Yeah. So I have not created any constructor here, right?
right.
If I create any constructor and there I take an argument as a subject, then I have to assign this string hello or Samiksha I wrote inside that object while creation. Okay. I
Okay.
hope that's clear.
And the constructor is not created by default in dot.
No, it is created, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Not these access modifiers present in Dart. Uh, no, Dart does not have access specifiers, or basically it has default as public. So this is it. It does have, but um, default it has public. If you want to make it private, you have to write private. Like in C++, what if we do not write public, then it is by default private, but in Dart it is by default public. So since I have not written any public or private, it was by default public. I hope that clears your doubt, Sumir. Okay. So any more doubts? If no, then we can move on to the quiz. Okay, so I'll share the code of the quiz and you can start joining, or you can directly write the pin. I've shared you the pin and the link. You can start joining. If no one is left, we can start the quiz. Or if anyone is left, just write in the chat box. They're yet to come. Okay, so the question was which of the following statements does not use string interpolation correctly? So so a lot of people has given, I think it was written not used correctly, and most of the people have did the correct option only. Okay, so the correct option was third one. Here we have to use dollar sign. I told that in the session. For string interpolation, we use a dollar sign. Yeah. Was there any doubt in this question? A lot of people has given the wrong answer for this. I don't know why, but I'm not able to respond to the question. Like, are you not able to click on the option? You have the option might be network issue, I guess.